Baraka di Salah to our Muslims brothers and sisters. My name is Ngubo Sarah. Welcome to Edo Executive Platform here in EBS TV Reloaded. And like you know, I'm not here alone. Felix is here with me. Good morning, Felix.
Good morning, Sarah. How are you this morning?
Very well, thank you. I can see your outfit.
My vibe, right?
Yeah.
That's the season that we're celebrating.
Of course.
Baraka di Salah to all my Muslim brothers and sisters. It is our prayer that the blessings of the season will remain with us and it will turn Nigeria, or not Nigeria, into another phase of development. Felix Usagire is my name. Welcome once again.
Edo Executive Platform is a platform that brings to bear the programs and policies of the Edo State government under the leadership of Governor Godwin Enogegase Obaseki. It also brings you up to speed on event activities that are happening across Edo State. All right, when we come, we'll go on a very quick break. And when we come back, we look at some of the trending stories in the government cycle. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back from the break. Let's quickly look at some of the stories in the trending, stories in the government circle. The first one on our list here is Obaseki presents automatic employment letter to first-class graduate of Edo University, Emmanuel Osaze. Let's quickly take a listen to the clips.
I present to you this letter of offer of appointment to the post of electrical engineer, grade level 9, step 2. Congratulations. Today, we have the best workplace environment in the whole of this country. No other state in the Federation can boast of what we have, and so many others. Before 26th of the month, before the month ends, we have paid salaries. How many states can do that in the Federation at the moment? We have the health insurance scheme here. We have so many things. So if Edo State cannot keep its talent, then of course no other state. Talent goes where it is valued, and where it is appreciated, and where it is rewarded. Today we have a new set of performance management indices that are different from the way other states in the Federation manage performance. Today, as a state government, we can emphatically say that in terms of performance management, we are the very top.
I got to bring my skills and my abilities to the commission service so that we can make Edo and Nigeria great again. Thank you very much to the governor and thank you to the commission.
The offer letter, as we can see, was presented by the head of service on behalf of the Edo State government. And it's very important to note that it is not just only Edo University, Uzare. It's now, in all institutions for Edo indigenes across board. Felix, what do you think about this move by the Edo State government?
To be honest with you, I'm so excited because this is a never seen before kind of achievement. When His Excellency the Governor made a pronouncement that 15 first-class graduates of Edo University Uzare will be offered automatic employment, the naysayers said, oh, this is another political talk. But just recently, we all witnessed it. And we saw that in matching his action with words, it happened, and Osaze was given his employment letter. Osaze happens to be the overall first-class graduate of Edo State University. What this goes to show is that excellence has a place in this government. This government is leaving no stone unturned in ensuring that the best hands are put in our public and civil service. Kudos to His Excellency, and I want to pray that more of our indigenes will begin to blaze the trail across the various universities in this country.
Yeah,
it's a laudable achievement.
Yeah, because considering the fact that, you know, one would graduate from the university emerging as the overall best, you know, with the first class, and then they will have to struggle to get work,
to get a place.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite frustrating, but this has gone to show that His Excellency means well for this state, and it also goes to show that for our students, if you do well, there's a government in place now that will recognize and reward you.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a thing we must encourage.
It will downplay the Japa syndrome.
Yes. Since that thing broke out, if I tell you the number of people that have called me to say, Felix, we have somebody in the north who is getting first class. So I say, has he gotten first class? He's about to get first class.
As long as it's of Edo
origin, then there's automatic employment. So that's a good one. All right, we have a second story here. The second story says, Edo government inaugurates guidelines for alternative care for children. There's this popular saying by the Holy Scriptures that teach your child the way he should grow. When he grows, he doesn't depart from it. And this is a clear display of that biblical injunction, talking about Her Excellency and her team trying to put in place proper guidelines for our children. Let's take a listen to that very clip. We'll be right back.
On behalf of Her Excellency, Mrs. Ehimuan.A, I launched these guidelines for alternative care for children in Edo State 2023 in the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit.
This groundbreaking ceremony marks the beginning of a new season in the administration and delivery of care for vulnerable children in Edo State. This great event is occasioned by the dedication of this government, led by His Excellency Governor Godwin Obaseki, to the welfare of Edo citizens, particularly the vulnerable ones.
The importance of the launch of this guideline cannot be overemphasized, as it will serve as a compass that will guide and strengthen the implementation of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, UNCRC, adopted in 1989, which clearly recognized that children are entitled in all aspects of their lives the right to family care and alternative care where necessary.
Edo State has made a significant leap towards enhancing the welfare of vulnerable children in the state. As we speak, discussions are currently in place with the state government to entrench alternative care principles in its child rights law. We are aware that the child rights law is being reviewed, and we are optimistic that this guideline will also reflect in the review, in the ongoing review. And we hope that, if done, would help broaden the frontiers of progress in the achievement of child's rights in the state. Needless to say that these bold moves being taken by Edo State is a kind of spirited move needed to help in advancing the welfare and rights of the Nigerian child.
All right, this is Edo Executive Platform. I think Sarah has one or two more stories.
Okay, Felix, it's just an information out there for, you know, Edo people, for us to come out in mass, you know, to support our darling team Bender Insurance, as they will be taking on Ekanemi Warriors today at 4 p.m. at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium. You know, Felix, what do you think about Bender Insurance team, particularly knowing that they have, you know, remained unbeaten for a couple of weeks, and you know, we've been topping the table? What do you think? What do you think could have made it look like that? And knowing the fact that we are about, you know, climaxing this Premier Premier League, the Nigerian Premier League?
First of all, let us appreciate the government of the day. The reason is this: the Deputy Governor, His Excellency Comrade Philip Shaibu, has anchored the revolution in the sport industry in this state. So when you have a sport-loving governor and sport-loving deputy governor putting the best practice in place to ensure that our team begin to blaze the trail, you can't see anything less of what you are seeing today. So I want to believe that the sky is the starting point. I want to believe that we are going to go places. Right from the time they clinched the NFPL table, I knew Vendor Insurance was going to go places. And today, we are seeing in reality on ground. Even the Edo Queens, we are all doing well, and I appreciate His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Edo State, for that proactive step. We are going to support. We are going to be there, and as usual, our support must be, must be well voiced out, must be seen, must be holistic in ensuring that we continue to see that Vendor Insurance will blaze the trail.
And we are wishing our own Benin Arsenal, victory over today's match. We can't wait to see them do better and greater things. And like fairly said, big kudos to the Edo State government for taking our time in reforming the entire sports sector. That's all we can take for our news flash. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we will be introducing a distinguished guest, one of the most celebrated Edo female journalists, no other than the chairman National Association of Women Journalists, NAWOJ Edo State, Adesuwa Ehimuan. Don't go anywhere. We'll right back shortly after the break.
This academy is for you, and it's for the future of Edo State. And the future is only possible if you understand that you must take ownership and also act in line with what you are expected to deliver. And when you do that, like I tell those pensioners every day, they join in destroying the system, and they are suffering for the system that they refuse to fix.
When we talk about strengthening capacity, we're basically talking about ensuring that the capacity to deliver for the people is available and is in use. And that is what we're trying to do with JUPSA.
I hereby inaugurate the Interministerial Counterback Team and wish them fruitful and resourceful deliberation that will facilitate the operationalization of JUPSA and accelerate the transformation of Edo State through achieving making Edo State great again. Congratulations.
One of the things we talked about was the need to build a guiding coalition. I'm going to see the essay to the governor on strategy now. From there, we're going to see the secretary to the state government and the attorney.
It has to be an institution that can fund itself to a certain extent, that will only need government intervention once in a while. Then to also attract partnership with existing institutions, both local and international.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome back. Joining us on the studio today to talk about some of the recent happening in the Nigeria Association of Women Journalists, as well as clear some gray areas of concern, is no other than the chairman, Nigeria Association of Women Journalists, NAWOJ Edo State, Adesuwa Ehimuan. Good morning. You are welcome to the show.
All right, thank you very much. A very good morning to you, esteemed viewers, wherever you are. This beautiful Saturday morning, I'm delighted to be with you.
Honestly, I'm seeing a very delighted personality today in the studio. Glad to have you, Adesuwa Ehimuan.
And it's very important to know that she's well-kitted.
Wonderful. It's in NAWOJ attire, so she's well represented, and she's representing, her association so well. We're glad to have you once again, and we want to believe that your coming here will throw some light into some great areas of concern as regards the operations and activities of NAWOJ Edo State. Now, let's start. I know that you protect the interest of your members, no doubt. And we also know that where some of your members cannot get to, you stand in the gap. Apart from the interest of your members, what exactly defines NAWOJ?
All right, thank you very much. NAWOJ is Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, and I happen to be the chairperson of Edo State. So basically, what we do at the NAWOJ level, it's advocacy of the girl, child, and women. But NAWOJ actually came into existence in 1987 through our pioneer chairperson at the national level. And since then, NAWOJ has always fought the cause for women and the girl child. Even in our profession, if you are looking at our broadcast profession way back memory lane, I'm sure you agree with me that it used to be a male-dominated field way back. You understand? So those are some of the things that NAWOJ stood for. Then to make sure that women were actively involved in our profession as journalists. Because then they were marginalized. You know, basically, once a woman gets to the age of having children, you know, it comes with lots of challenges, and I'm sure you agree with me. And so most times when the women in question don't have a support system, it tends to affect their professional course, or they affect them professionally. You understand? So those were the things the association tried to stood for then, to make sure that women were actively encouraged, you understand, to be able to carry their duties in the newsroom, to be able to carry their duties as journalists, and also to scrap away that segregation, like it's a man's word or it's a man's occupation. And I'm sure you agree with me that today is a different ball game. Yeah, we have seen women in different stations, be it at the private sector and even at the government sector, raising to the top echelon in their professions. So those are the things the association stood for way back. But presently today, what we do basically is advocacy for women and the girl child in our society. So we do training programs for our women journalists. They also do advocacy for women. Like sometimes we have programs clamoring for inclusion of women in politics, just to encourage the women and of course the girl child to have belief in themselves that they can also achieve whatever they feel they want to achieve in life, basically. Because, you know, we live in a patriarchal society whereby it's like it's a man's world, you understand. Like I was flipping through some papers this morning. I had to qualify, it's like the last election that played out, that's the Edo State House of Assembly elections, we had 24 constituency. Out of this 24 constituency, how many women emerged? 2. How many women emerged?
We'll give you 2.
So how many women are going to be at the Hallowed Chambers?
We gave you 2.
We gave you 2.
That's on the lighter note.
Yeah, I understand. So how many women are going to represent us at the legislative level in Edo State House of Assembly? I think it's high time we call a spade and start pushing women to the front burner to be able to pilot the affairs of things in our state and also Nigeria at large. I'm very proud of our governor. Governor Godwin Obaseki has done very well for women inclusion, and I'm sure you agree we have a lot of female commissioners today in Edo State.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and also we have a lot of female permanent secretaries.
Yes.
Unlike the usual norm we used to have, now it's a different ball game. We really do appreciating that we're asking that it should do more for the women gender.
Hold on, if you do more, which means more men will go to the go low on the ladder. But honestly, I must, before I allow you, woman to woman, to take over now, because the way you are talking about women inclusion, I have no doubt that very soon Sarah will also take over this program so that it will be woman to woman. Honestly, I've been admiring you from afar, talking about your leadership qualities, talking about the fact that you're a broadcast journalist. It simply shows that you are a round peg in a round hole. Now, this is it. Let's talk about you. Okay? How have you been faring in a male-dominated profession?
Okay, very well. I've been faring very well, and I think the narrative it's changing. Journalism or media, it's not a male-dominated industry as it used to be way back, memory lane. Right now, it's a different ball game. You see women at the top echelon, even in management, even as general managers, even as director news, even as head of news. Unlike what we used to have way back, head of programs, and they're doing very well. Well, I, for one, I'll be able to fail very well, you understand? And of course, you know, it's not always a win-win situation, but it's been smooth and successful so far.
Wow, that's quite interesting. So away from a little bit of Edo State, how would you say the social media has affected professional journalism practice in Edo State?
Well, talking about the social media, I'm sure you will agree with me that presently every Tom, Dick, and Harry that has an Android phone just go to the internet and drops information without verification, without doing the appropriate checks. And most times, people are misinformed through that process.
Yeah. True.
People have been informed over time, and people still get informed till this moment. You understand? I think basically if they're actually going to be sanctioned to regulate the social media, it's going to help a great deal, and it's also going to help the media industry. Like now, for instance, looking at the media industry, looking at the media industry, like the radio and television, you know, when you have your information or you have your news, for instance, you go back home, you go back to your studio, you do your editing, you do your check, you double check again, you check your facts.
Proofread.
Yes, you proofread. You'll be sure that this message I'm sending out, you understand, it's authentic, it's genuine. You try as much as you can to make sure the message is balanced, accurate. You understand? You hear from both sides of the story. You don't just send a one-sided story. You try as much as you can as a journalist to make sure your story is balanced before broadcast. Hear the side of Mr. A, hear the side of Mr. B, and make sure you have an excellent reportage. But right now, it's a different ball game. Everybody just goes to the social media and drop information there, and it's very, very disheartening. And I think it's high time there should be measures put in place to check the social media space.
Now, just a little bit away from the social media space, you did make mention of the fact that, you know, as professional journalists, you're supposed to double check. When you hear from one side, you hear from the other side. Now, that's balancing. Now, when you look at the current state of things, there's a lot of quackery in the whole process. You listen to stories this time from reputable media outlets, and you hear from one side, you don't even hear from the other side. It's almost like they're passing an instant judgment. So what do you have to say on that?
Yeah, talking about quackery, our association, now let me break it down at this point. NAWOJ happens to be the women wing of the NUJ, and the NUJ is the Nigerian Union of Journalists, and presently we're having trying to fight quackery out of the system, whereby at the last NEC meeting that was held early this year, you understand, we actually came up with a resolution that as a practicing journalist, the medium qualification you should have should be your HND in mass communication or media related courses.
The minimum?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And also your first degree should be in journalism as a practicing journalist or media arts, mass communication, or any courses related yes, to media or to journalism. You understand? The essence of all of this is to fight quackery out of the system, to make sure we have the right pegs and the right round pegs in the round holes and square pegs in the square hole. You understand? Not just because you have access to your laptop, you are a good writer, does not really make you a journalist. You understand? So once you have this requisite academic qualification, you understand, like for those who don't have media related courses in their first degree, they can actually opt for a postgraduate program.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You understand?
To qualify them to practice.
Yes, to qualify them to practice.
Fantastic.
You understand? So you could actually do that as your second degree. Probably you have something in engineering or just maybe in the faculty of arts, any of the courses, and you're interested, or you're in the media, or you're already in the media industry, or you're a practicing journalist. All you have to do is just to go further. I know sometimes facing economic reality, it could be quite tasking, but be that as it may, you understand, this is your profession, for crying out loud. So we should learn to sacrifice. Just go back to school. And before I say Jack Robinson, it's history. You have a certificate.
But look at it. Let's look at it this way.
Okay.
You see, I don't have a problem with certification. You know, when it comes to you becoming a journalist, you are asked to get this from there's something they call a CLA, University of Ibadan Communication and Language Arts. There is a Federal Government Broadcast Academy in Lagos, owned by Radio Nigeria, a whole lot of them. But the issue now is implementation. So people will tell you, oh, I've got this. They will just flag it off and they begin to show you, look at what they are doing and all that. How do you ensure implementation? Anybody can tell you, I went to this, I went to that.
Presently in Edo State, for instance, we have a compendium.
Okay.
Yeah, a compendium committee was set up by the NAWOJ, and as we speak now, we have a compendium of practicing qualified journalists in Edo State.
Oh,
yes, we
there's
do.
a book that
yes, there's
will
a
enable me
compendium.
identify who
Yes.
a professional journalist is.
Yes, as we speak, there's a
Okay.
compendium for journalists practicing in Edo State.
Verifiable.
Verifiable, your year in service, the media organization you work with,
for.
your academic qualification, which has to do with the school you attended, and the school you attended, and the academic qualification you obtained.
So if we have a function, we see anybody that is not in that compendium, we are free to boot the person out.
Of course.
As a quack.
It played out sometime last year, December.
Wow.
Precisely in Edo States, where we had to use a compendium for an event. And it was only those whose name made a compendium that attended that event as practicing journalists here in Edo State.
But of course, with time, you update.
Yes,
upgrade
they'll be upgrading at different intervals.
Okay,
so
as people
those who
come
have the
in.
opportunity to go back to school, you understand, you have your certificate, can come and register officially, and your name will be added to the compendium.
Okay, what about those that are just freelancing? And because when you made mention, you were like the organization you work with, you know, like you noted earlier, there are those that are very good writers, and you know, with the way they saw, oh yeah, I'm talented, okay, let me further, you know, and then they deviate from maybe say engineering or computer science, and then take a PGD, you know, did the certification and they got the certificate, and they are still freelancing, trying to build their own media outlet. Are these same persons qualified to be associated? To be associated with the NUJ and thereafter called.
Yeah, I'm sure
journalists?
such people can be associate members of the association.
Okay.
You understand? Because the media outfit or the media organization you work with is also germane.
Okay. Then the students, you know, there are some students reading mass communication in some schools. They give them ID cards, and the ID card is boldly written press. How do you how do you deal with such? Are students actually professional members?
No.
Okay.
I'm sure you agree with me. They are still in school. They are still going through the tutelage. You understand, of the ethics of broadcasting or the ethics of journalism. They are not yet certified members, so it's not ideal.
Okay, all right. Well, the show is getting more and more interesting, and before we take a break, I know Sarah will want to say one or two, but let me quickly put this to you. Now, talking about relationship, you made mention of the NUJ. The NAWOJ is the women wing of the Nigerian Association of Nigerian Union of Journalists. Okay, there are other professional bodies like Nigerian Guild of Editors, Nigerian Press Council. There is even a trade union, Ratao. What is your relationship with these bodies?
Well, basically, it's a cordial relationship. You understand, because come to think about it, they are all interwoven.
Okay.
Yeah, and we are all we are all professional bodies, so it's a cordial one.
Okay.
You understand?
Do you co-host events, organize events?
When the situation arises, we do.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
Interesting. All right, we're still discussing with the chairman, Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, NAWOJ Edo State, Adesuwa Ehimuan. The discussion continues shortly after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Edo State government, under the leadership of His Excellency Godwin Nogegase Obaseki, is blazing the trail of development in line with the mega agenda. All sectors of the state's economy are being repositioned for the prosperity of Edo people, from education to health, agriculture to sport, you name it. Only one program brings you details of these developments and more, and that is Edo Executive Platform, a program designed to relate government's efforts in repositioning Edo State. So, join Felix Osagede and Sarah Igubo every Saturday at 11 a.m. with a repeat broadcast on Monday at 2 p.m. Get ready, the executive platform set to bring the mega agenda to your doorstep. It will surely blow your mind.
All right, you're welcome back. We are still with the chairperson at Edo State NAWOJ. What would you say you have done differently since you came on board as the chairman of NAWOJ Edo State?
Oh, well, thank you very much. I'll first of all comment this aspect by first, when the issue of me coming up for this leadership position actually came up, there were a lot of talks at different quarters. You understand? So some people said she's too young. So how can she control women?
Exactly.
You understand? And there were a lots of other comments at different quarters. So then I came up with a slogan, "Not too young to run," in 2019.
Yeah.
And God being faithful, God being kind, it was a smooth process. You understand? And I just want to use the opportunity to thank my boss, the general manager, Radio Nigeria Bronze FM, Mrs. Abimbola Oyetunde, for believing in me. You understand? Because there was a meeting that was held, and the stakeholder was like, "She's too young. How will she cope with such office at her age?" and so like that. So she was like, she now said, "Talk to me." She now spoke about my umbo, like,
Can you hear them?
Can you hear them? And stuff like that. "Are you sure you can?" I said, "Mama, Mulishio," and after that in Yoruba, she said, "Eh." She said, "Okay." You understand? So that was how my dream eventually became a reality. She gave me the needed support. She actually believed in me. You understand? Herself and our immediate past national president, Mrs. Ehimuan.A. You understand? She was like, "Anytime I see you at this, I'm always scared, and I don't know how you're going to cope with those Edo women." I'm just thinking, and I'm like, "How will you cope?" That's just my fear. I was like, "But since you say you can, no problem.
Let's see.
We'll give you the needed support." So God's so good, God's so kind, and that was how I got the needed support, and I emerged chairperson Edo State NAWOJ in 2019. Every leadership position comes with its own challenges. You understand? You understand? And I'm sure you agree with me that leadership is an Herculean task. If anybody tells you it's always going to be a smooth ride, no.
That's a lie.
You always have to put on your thinking cap, and above all, be prayerful. Yeah, and I'm sure you agree with me. One with God,
Yes, it's a majority. Absolutely.
So, yeah.
But look at it this way. This is your second term in office. I know your election comes after 3 years or thereabout. All right. In this span of years, you being the leader of NAWOJ Edo State, what would you say you've done XYZ that you've done differently that is standing you out?
Okay, thank you very much. We have had lots of collaboration with other professional bodies here in Edo State. We have had lots of seminars, partnership with Opta Women, with Caring Arts, with Sotowaka, with FIDA, and also with M1, just to mention but a few. And sometimes we have collaboration and of course partnership. Like in February this year, we observed the World Cancer Day, where we had free screening for women here in Edo State. Not just women journalists this time around, it was open to all women, and it was held every Wednesday in February, where women were given free medical check for cancer of the cervix. And during that process, they also had a free check for glucose, body mass index, and other checks like that. You understand? I came to realize that most times we women, especially professional women, they get so busy that they don't even have time to check themselves for their own health. They run after their family, they run after the kids, they are chasing their career, they're trying to also safeguard their homes and take care of their husbands and probably in-laws, and women don't really have sufficient time to take care of themselves. So we're trying as much as we can to change the narrative to encourage women to go for a regular check, because health is wealth. And also we have had professional training programs here at Edo State for our women journalists to make sure they are able to excel in their profession.
Oh, that's really
Impressive.
a whole lot. That's impressive. Now let's look at the government of Edo State. You have been practicing here for a while now, and as a leader of NAWOJ Edo State and as a practicing broadcast journalist, how would you assess His Excellency Governor Godwin Obaseki, since you've been practicing here? How would you assess his government so far?
Well, to me, I'll say thumbs up to our performing governor. That's the governor of Edo State, Godwin Nogegase Obaseki. Well, I, for one, actually agree that the governor has done extremely well for the good people of Edo State. Let's start from the health sector, for instance. The Edo State government of recent had a meeting with WHO, UNICEF, and other development partners to strengthen measures to improve health care delivery in Edo State. And also the primary health care PHC in Edo State has been reformed during the administration of Governor Obaseki, whereby we have at least one primary health care center in each of the 192 wards in Edo State. And presently, 56 primary health care centers are undergoing renovations. And I'm sure you agree with me that some medical profession or professionals, doctors, nurses, lab scientists are presently undergoing training and retraining to be able to man these primary healthcare centers here in Edo State. And also the recent inauguration of Edo State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, ESPHDA. This is a significant development in repositioning the state healthcare system, and also the Edo Health Insurance Scheme, Edo HRS. This is also commendable. So talking about the health sectors, whereby all you have to do is just to register, then you have your card and walk up to any medical facility or any hospital, and of course you'll be given adequate response, whatever be the health challenge. I think this is a very laudable initiative of the governor of Edo State. And also away from presently the Stella Obasanjo Hospital is presently undergoing renovations, and according to findings, they are bringing state-of-the-art equipment, sophisticated laboratories, and of course a whole lot. It's a plus to me to have such performing governor at the ends of affair who takes the health of his citizens into consideration and of course wants the best for the great people of Edo State. So away from the health sector, let's look at the educational sector, Edo Best. There's Edo Basic Education Sector Transformation Programs. It has really been very good. Let me use the word very good, in the sense that a 2023 World Bank Spring Meeting held in Washington, D.C., United States, actually recognized Edo Best program, and sure there we also, Edo State was lauded, yes, as the only sub-national nation present there. I think that's kudos to the governor of Edo State for a job well done. I think about this Edo State Edo Best initiative. I visited one of the public primary school of recent. You know, my mom happens to be a retired headmistress in one of this government primary school in Benin. So I went to see an old colleague of her. You understand? So when I get to the school, in fact, Uvi Primary School to be precise, the gate was locked. You know, like what we used to have as a 2006, 27 way back, the gates will be open even when classes are ongoing. You see students loitering around within the school premises or outside. Nothing of such presently. So while I actually got there, the gate was locked. So I got talking to the great man. So I was granted access into the school compound. What actually interested me was that while I was working, one or two teachers they became so curious, like, who is this within the business? Supervisor. They're not speaking me now. Are you like supervisor? And stuff like that. Like the supervisor is around, you understand? So deep between me, I was smiling, you understand, because I understand Benin very well. So deep, I was like, it's as if supervisors are here from the ministry, you understand? So I look at your smile and I said, no, this is who I am. I actually came to see the HM for XYZ reason, you understand? So which I saw her, then after everything I left, you understand? So it's like everybody is now up and doing.
The sanity has been
Yeah,
restored.
yeah, back to the system education. And there's this school o'clock slogan.
Initiative,
yeah. I see around. I see some branded vehicles. You understand? It's really great. Honestly speaking, it's really great. Unlike what you used to have, you hardly see students walking in their uniform during school hours, like what we used to have before. No. That has actually fizzled out. You can go around and do your check, because I've done my check. You understand? So even in the public secondary school, same thing. The school gates are always locked during school hours. At least few schools are visited for personal reasons, you understand? And there's decorum in the system. And like a family friend of mine, we got to talk, he was like, these days the teachers are really trying, sometimes they have 12 subjects in a day, according to the Edo Best Initiative, sometimes 10 subjects a day, unlike what they used to have way back. Memory lane is a different ball game now, and of course we just pray for continuity. That's all I can actually request for at this point.
That is what is on the lips of almost every adult person.
And again, the retirement age of teachers have also been extended to 65 years in service or 40 years in service. I think this is also commendable to encourage those in the teaching profession. It's very, very commendable.
So, let me quickly get your what are your thoughts on women in politics?
Well, my thoughts on women in politics. I think it's high time we have more women participation in politics, both in Edo State and also at the national level. It is very, very pertinent. It is very, very important, because come to think about it, whenever you give a woman an opportunity, you understand, or an office to take charge, she puts in her best. And I'm sure you agree with me that women are good managers.
True.
They are good managers, and they are good at multitasking.
I'm expecting you to say
and they are good
true.
at multitasking and juggling so many things at the same time. A woman will be in her office, she's checking up on the children, she's thinking of fixing dinner, she's thinking of making a deadline at work, probably for the news at 6. She's thinking of the next day board meeting, and she still have to take care of Oga in the other room.
I know.
You understand? So
that is a call cause anyway. That one is a call cause. Every other thing minus that is. But you see, the fact that you multitask, does that really mean that you will do well in these positions? Let's argue this out.
No. Honestly speaking, I feel when a woman is given an opportunity to serve, she puts in her best, and I'm sure women will do absolutely well. You understand? Like I keep saying, we're clamoring for women inclusion. Like I said earlier on, regards they just concluded Edo State House of Assembly elections here in Edo State that was held on the 18th of March. To be precise, that we had a rerun. You understand? Even during the main election before the supplementary or the rerun election, when I saw the names of the winners, how many women were we having?
You were worried?
When the initial 21 constituency were declared by INEC, 21 constituencies were declared by INEC, we had just one woman.
You were worried about that?
Just one woman. Okay, so after the supplementary election that was held in Oredo East, Ovia, and I can't remember the last constituency now. We had Ego, thank you very much. Ego constituency. Okay, out of these 3 constituencies, we now had additional 1 woman.
Yes.
So making a total of just 2 women.
Well, those 2
out of 24 constituency. Now, I think such issues should be looked into. You understand? And of course, a subsequent election, we should take cognizance of such. We should try and make it balance. If we had 24 constituency, 12-12, or 14-10, it's okay.
It's fair.
It's fair.
But don't you think
gender
we
balance,
didn't have enough women coming out to vow for this positions? Because when you look at the primaries that was conducted across the various party divides, you'll notice that we had a very low turnout of women that wanted, to vow for these positions.
Okay, I think one major challenge that some women had, despite the fact they had interest, was complaints about the financial involvement in politics. Yes, I've got to interact with women. We have had seminars on women participation or women inclusion in politics, and they always complain about finance. So that's just one major challenge. And like I always say, I always tell women, it's always good for you to encourage your fellow woman to succeed. You understand? Despite the fact the kind of society we live in is a men-dominated society, but it's always good, it's always ideal you support, you encourage your fellow woman vying for any position.
Let me quickly
to make sure
take
she
you up
succeeds.
on this particular point. Don't you think that with the way things are currently, it is even the women that tear down we tear down our fellow women the minute they say, oh, I want to run for position. It is the women that say, no, it's not a woman's affair. It's for a man.
You can't drag with the men, no, leave them. Oh,
yes,
it's their thing. No.
What do you think has gone wrong with our mentality? Yeah, you know, to have this consciousness. Oh, no, leave it for a man. No, you know, within the women fold.
Yeah, I think basically some of these things happen as a result of bickering, jealousy, envy. That's my take. And so they're like, oh, so tomorrow she comes, she emerges, and she comes around bossing us. How? Why?
So what's the way forward for this?
I think basically the way forward is we'll keep sensitizing our women. You understand? We'll keep holding enlightenment and educative programs to let them know why it is important for women to participate actively in politics, and why it's also important for you to support your fellow woman to succeed in any aspect of life. Trust me.
Honestly, I understand what you're saying. Personally, I've seen quite a number of brilliant women. Edo State is a case study. If you see all the women that are in this government, they all are blazing the trail in their different ministries and different portfolios. I remember we brought in a lady who she just celebrated 60 years yesterday. Congratulations to her. She came on this program. She told us so many things that women face when it comes to aspiring for leadership positions. But I know that there's always a way to start. With the awareness that we now have now, including His Excellency, there's this 35% affirmative action. I want to believe that it can always get better. But you have a greater job to do, in telling your women, your fellow women that, look, let's come, especially when you have a tested credibility and you possess the right quality leadership. Now, let's look at, as we wind down the program, because time is really not on our side. Okay, let's look at the government. We've been talking about the fact that His Excellency is doing a lot, talking about the mega agenda, his various giant strides. Let's be blunt a little. Do you think there are things that His Excellency should do to, make Edo State a better place?
There are some things. Well, so far, so good. What the governor of Edo State has done so far is quite commendable. Looking at the health sector, the educational sector, even the sports sector. Like, for instance, looking at the performance of Benin Insurance Football Club of Benin, which has been revived. You understand, unlike what it used to be. You understand, encouragement of workers. Edo State workers now get their payments consistently, regularly. Before 21st, 22nd, they're already getting their alerts. You understand, including that of the pensioners. Okay, what's basically the governor should do more is, while he's still working on all his agenda, all his blueprints for the good people of Edo State, I just pray he works on getting a good successor that'll be able to fit into his shoes and keep on the continuity of all he has commenced here in Edo State.
That's a good one. That's what we're also praying for, because if there is no continuity, you just discover that the whole of this thing will be messed up, and that is not our prayer. Although we're going to fight that person, because the governor has shown us a way to development. I refer to him as an architect of modern Edo State, so nobody can rubbish whatever he's doing and what he will yet do. Now let's look at this government and the past, because you've been around for a while now. Let's look at the government of His Excellency Governor Godwin Obaseki and the past we have seen. What do you think stands this very governor out?
Okay, well, for one, what I think actually stands His Excellency, the Governor of Edo State, out is this initiative in the educational sector.
Okay.
You know, like you agree with me that our children are the leaders of tomorrow.
Yes.
And the only thing every parent out there holds his or her child award, it's a good education.
Mm-hmm.
So this, the governor has been able to work on presently in Edo State, whereby every or most of the public primary and secondary school here in Edo State now have a better working environment. Although some schools still have some dilapidated structures, you understand, and there are still some lapses, I would like to use opportunity, you understand, to speak to the governor and those in charge to also try to do the needful, visit some of these secondary schools, visit some of these primary schools, you understand, where they have structural issues like dilapidated building. They should send contractors to go do renovation in those schools. You understand? Make sure the students have enough chairs that'll be comfortable for them to sit in class.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you understand? And also just do other little maintenance within the educational sector. And trust me, this thing we stand out more.
That's impressive. So what are your advice for Edo people, Edo women, you know, watching you right now, you know, the general Edo people?
Yeah, my advice to every Edo woman out there watching us right now is, you know, elections are fast approaching again in Edo State. We have our Edo 2024, and again in 2027 there'll be another national and state House of Assembly elections. Let's try as much as we can, not just the women this time around. I'm talking to every great sons and daughters of the great Benin Kingdom, the great Edo State. I should try as much as you can to encourage women to participate actively in politics. Give them the necessary push, give them the necessary support, financially, materially, and otherwise.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And this is where we draw the curtains to today's edition of the show. We want to thank the chairperson, Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, Edo State, NAWOJ, Adesuwa, Ehimuan. Thank you so much for taking our time to join us in the studio today. Thank you so much. And of course, you, our viewers, we are super grateful for your constant viewing of our show. We are deeply grateful. We say thank you. And to our crew, we say a very big thank you. My name is Ngubo Sarah, and like I will always say, the Edo of our dreams is a collective responsibility. While the government play their part, we as citizens must also play our part. See you next week.
All right. Felix Osagere remains my name. There's no other place to call our own. Let's join hands together to move Edo State forward. This program makes a repeat broadcast on Monday at 2 p.m. Until then, have yourself a great weekend ahead. Bye for now.